Hi FlossTube Stitchers. My vintage stitches tonight are both golf related. The first is a fingertip towel, and I can't remember how I determined what book it came from. I don't know if it was on the Leisure Arts site as still being available as a PDF or if I found it in a stash unload, but it's 560 Towels for Good Sports. So it's available somewhere if you Google it. And obviously it had other sports on the leaflet as well. And then the second one is a full-fledged towel, like a hand towel size, I guess, with the Ada band across the top. And it has Velcro, so it was supposed to be attached to your golf bag. And I could not find this anywhere. These were stitched as shop models back in the day. I don't remember if I stitched them or had somebody stitch them, so I may have given the chart to the stitcher for them to do other projects from it, or it may just still be packed away and I've never organized it since moving to our current house 20 years ago. So I couldn't find that. I tried Google image search and it brought up nothing. But I chose those as sports to stitch because my dad and my brother were big golf fans. My dad doesn't golf anymore due to his health and his age. It's very bad for your back, which is one reason why I was never interested in learning it. My mom had a bad back and I could see how easily you could get it out of whack and be in pain. But my dad was really active on the golf league in his Kiwanis club and arranged the outings and bought food, and he volunteered his time beyond just golfing. And my brother still golfs. My sister-in-law probably doesn't see him all summer practically because he makes up for lost time. In our weather, there's only a few months that you can golf, and he's an accountant, so he has several deadline hectic periods during the year, and he tries to make up for it by taking more time off in the summer to golf. And he's pretty good. I should have, if I had planned this better, I would have asked him some details, but he participates in tournaments and championships and charity events, and he has golfed with some semi-famous people, probably. He's won some tournaments, won money or prizes or whatever. So he still really loves to golf. It's probably his favorite seasonal activity or sport. So anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do with them now. The towels, I mean, not my brother and my dad. I probably offered these to them at one point. In fact, the idea of stitching them as shop models was maybe that when the books went out of print, I would just give them. So I don't know if I tried and they didn't want them. Maybe a cross-stitch golf towel would be weird for them, or maybe they didn't want to get them dirty. I don't remember. I'll have to ask my brother if he thinks I ever offered these to him. Maybe I'll offer them to him now and see what he says. Being older, you don't really care what people think. So maybe he would accept them now as a gift. Okay, on to my whips. So I have 3 to show you this week. The first, I think I showed you once or twice before, A Little Liberty by Lizzy Kate, which I can no longer get for anybody, but it's probably available through 123 Stitch. And I had started this as part of my New Year's Eve 12 by 12 in 2023. So I only worked on it for 1 hour during that time, and I had done the letters for the word liberty. Then last time I showed this to you, I had added the light blue and the yellow sunflowers. So this week, I added the green leaves and more of the dark blue in a border. I started this backstitch line at the top, and I kept getting off because it's, goes over 3 or more threads in some parts, and I thought, it might be helpful to stitch some of the flowers and the leaves so I can keep my place. Well, I wanted to start with the vine first, which yes, it's done in navy, and I didn't want to change it because it kind of just evens out all the navy blue in the picture. But I wanted to start with that so that I could connect the leaves by running the thread behind those stitches so that I wouldn't have to do just 4 stitches and tie off the end. So I'm going to have to do this little by little and you know, probably take some of that blue out and fix it and make sure I'm staying on track. So that was my Lizzy Kate. All right, then I went back to working on American Eagle by Blackbird Designs, and it was a 2015 club piece, I believe. I can't remember who for. And it was reprinted in 2016 in this book, Sweet Land of Liberty, and this book has also been reprinted, so it is still available. And there's 5 designs in here. I was going to show you the inside cover, but it was awkward to not show you the graph. So I started this as part of my 2019 Mania, and I had only done the outline of the house. So last week I filled in the roof, and this week I finished the white part of the house, and I probably am going to change all the rest of the colors. Well, I already changed the white. It called for Gentle Art Shaker White. In fact, most of the colors, or all of the colors, were Gentle Art except for the roof, which is Pelican Gray, I think, by Weeks. I think it's Pelican. A couple of the grays I get confused. I get mixed up. But that I liked, and this is the Confederate Gray 32 count linen that it called for. But Shaker White was way too yellow for me, and for a patriotic piece, I just wanted there to be a more clear white. And this is the same color that's going to be in the flag and in the pot and the eagle's head, and I just didn't want those to be yellow. So I picked Grits from Weeks Dye Works, and I like that so far. And I have to tell you that I looked at this many times since 2019 because I love to stitch patriotic, and I intended on going back to it. And every time I looked at my accumulated floss colors for it, I thought, these are so drab and boring. How is this a patriotic piece? There's actually no blue. It's gray. So it's a little bit of a blue gray, but it's still gray. It's Tin Bucket, I think. And then the red is like a purpley red, which I don't like for patriotic. My dye lot of the lighter color is way too pink. So I actually am playing around with changing all of the Gentle Art to Weeks Dye Works. And I haven't narrowed it down yet. I think I'm probably going to do like one color at a time. I haven't decided on the door color. I want to finish the house so that I can take the hoop off and for good and, you know, move it around to different places. But I need to decide on the trim color, which is brown. And I'm like, would you have dark brown trim on a gray and white house? I'm not sure. And then the door is like a pale green, and I think I'm gonna switch it up to a blue or a blue gray. So anyway, but I'm coming along. I'm really enjoying stitching it now that I've made that decision, and I like that the house is finished. I'm stitching with one strand, so you know that goes faster. So that is my American Eagle. And I may continue to work on that maybe, you know, one day a week or something, so I actually get this done this year, because that's way too long to have a patriotic whip in progress. All right. And then I decided to give some more love to Where There Are Bees. I'm doing the big piece. And this also was a 2019 Mania piece. In fact, the Post-it note is still on the back. It was day 20 because I put, I can't show you because there's charts. These two charts are on the back, but I put post-it numbers on the back so I would keep track of them during that time. So I can't remember when I showed it to you last year. I did work on it, you know, a few more times, but this week I added another word and I started the top border. And this one I'd also like to get as much as, I have not taken this Q-snap off at all because it's not going to affect the stitching, but it's positioned so that I could do some of those honeycomb sections more easily. So I'd like to finish everything I can before I actually move the Q-snap. But it's only 4 colors. You know, I meant to have those handy to remind you what they were, but Prairie Schooler had called for 4 DMC, and I took those DMC, took it right over to the Weeks Dye Works wall and matched them up. I think it's Blue Jay, Gold, Red Pear, and I don't remember what the brown is, but I'm also going to continue working on this, so I can tell you next time. I accidentally put them back in my stitch bag. So I'd like this because I have a few places where I can just hang one larger picture and not have to worry about it being in a grouping. And I'm like, why is this not done? This is way too long for me to have a bee-themed piece as a whip. So we need to get moving on that. I also want to do the 2 little pieces, but I haven't decided yet how I'm going to finish those. Obviously, they don't need to be companion pieces to this big one, but I'll figure out something for that. So those were my whips. New stuff that we got some needle minders. The top 3 are from Bowen, and they're all cat related, and I know the cat theme is popular. And then the bottom 3 are designs by Deanna at Cherry Hill Stitchery, and they represent some of the charts that she's designed. They're acrylic, and these are metal. The Bowen are 10, and the Cherry Hill are 7. So they're kind of fun. And then we got the July, let's see, they're in order. I put them in order of, not alphabetical, but by shade. Well, that's okay. I already put that away. So Midnight is the darkest, Chester's Blue is in the middle, and Petticoat Blue is the lightest one. And that's what people got on the automatic. I do have 1 set always left over each month. So if anybody wanted these or just wanted a single color, I do have all the packs starting from January. Each time I increased my automatic, I increased it by 3. And the last time it was an extra one, maybe for somebody who had expressed interest but didn't fully commit, and that's fine. So I have a set left over each month. And they're $8 each, but if you are on the automatic, you get the 10% off that Diane offered to us. All right. Then we got 2 new charts from Plum Street. This is called A Fine Spot. And there's a little tiny frog. It's so cute. So I think that's really sweet. It's kind of the same size as her animal stacks. So this is called Tropic Troop, and they're flamingos. They're each $10. All right, then we have some beautiful fabric. Let's see, I'm gonna start with, they're all 32 Lugana, and Pearl Gray I know is available in other types of fabric, but I think this was the first time any of these colors were in Lugana. Am I wrong? I forgot to double check this. Anyway, this is pearl gray. The distributor suggested that it matched DMC O2, which is the lighter one. And I went and found my own matches from DMC before I realized, or before I remembered, that the distributor always puts that in the description, and I had forgotten. So anyway, I had pulled 415, and I actually think it's a better match, because when you're trying to match colors, it's always better to go a little darker than lighter. And I do feel like 415 is a little bit better match. But either one of these, if you have them in your stash, that will be a good indication of what the color fabric will look like. It's a really pretty gray. I've done tons of things of pearl gray in 32 Belfast, which at the time was the only count it was available. And I'm thinking, was that 10 years ago? Because I've done a lot of winter pieces on that. Then we have Slate Blue, and the distributor suggested that it matched 322, which is the darker one, and I had picked $7.99. So pretty close. I think you could use either one of them as an indication. Then the next three are a series. I'm just gonna show you the first one with all the DMC colors on top, and there were some discrepancies in this as well. So I think this is the best indication of the whole series. I'm showing you 4 DMC colors, but there's only 3 new colors of Lugana. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to do this. Let me just tell you what they are in case they fall off as I'm showing you. From light to dark, the DMC colors are 3743, 3042, 3041, and 3740. And I will try to hold them. Well, you know what? I'm going to kind of hold them this way. So now I'll show you each one individually. So this is pale lavender, not to be confused with pastel lilac in linen, which is almost white. And I was really disappointed when I got it. And I'm not selling it very well because it really, it's so pale. And I was thinking this was the same thing, but I took a chance on it anyway. But no, this they call pale lavender, and the other one was pastel lilac. This is actually darker in person. It's really, it looks too light on camera. The medium shade is Dusty Lavender, which I think is really pretty and would still work for Halloween designs if you so desire. I had Halloween in mind when I ordered these at the time, because I was thinking of what I needed to get in the next few months to help people out with that theme. And then this is Wild Berry. Yeah, this is also blowing out a little bit on camera. But they're really pretty, and I don't know why they only come out with them in one color. Nobody tells shop owners anything. Zweigart never asks our opinion. I don't know who they ask for their opinion on how to do things, but the fact remains that a lot of times when they come out with a new color, it's either in 32 Belfast or 32 Lugana. So they must think that's kind of an in-between count that anybody could aspire to or change to if they really want that color. Hopefully they'll be available in some other counts, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. So my giveaway this week is an 1/8 yard of any one of those 5 colors. I'm sorry that it's only available in 32 if you don't stitch on that, but I'm going to do it anyway. Sometimes I put up charts that you don't want either, so I guess it's all fair. So you don't have to tell me which color. You can if you want to, but we can always discuss it later with the person whose name is chosen by the random number generator. So you can say any of the names of the fabric or just put Lugana in your comment. And we'll pick a winner next time, and you'll get an eighth of a yard. All right, then I wanted to remind you again about the Halloween slideshow that I want to have this year, because I had enough pictures given to me after the deadline last year that I could start working on a new one. And maybe, oh yeah, we have quite a few new shop models to include as well. I don't have a deadline yet. I'm gonna say it's gonna be like really by the 1st of October, just because October's really busy and I want to get the video out before the holiday rather than after. So as you're thinking about it, as you're starting to decorate, or if you already have pictures taken of your Halloween pieces or Halloween decor from previous years, I don't care what year it's from, you can email them to me. And then I think I forgot to say last time, but I usually draw a winner from all of the people who submitted photos, and you'll get a chance at with every usable picture that you give me, preferably that has cross stitch in it. There'll be a $25 gift certificate given. And so with that, I have 2 new shop models that are Halloween in theme. And who are they from? Yes, you got it. They're from Marlene. Okay, the first one is Bent Creek Snappers Halloween. And it includes a couple of the snaps, but there's also an extra button pack that you can use, or you can buy them separately. But the tiny little, I should be showing you on the stitched piece rather than the chart, but the tiny little spiders are black buttons, and you just sew them on with the legs. So I thought that was very clever. Now, Marlene stitched this in 2009, and I apparently never saw it when she had it done. So this was one of the pieces I got recently when she allowed me to go through her stash. So this is her version. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's sparkly fabric. And because it was 2009, I can't imagine that it's anything other than Picture This Plus, because I can't think of a company that did opalescent fabric back then in color, because this is not a solid color, it's an overdye. So I'm guessing it's Picture This Plus. I have no idea what color it is. And every time I go to order fabric, I think you need to throw some opalescent, or some crystal, as Marilyn calls it for Picture This Plus. You need to throw some opalescent fabric in there. And then I look at it and I go, but I don't know what color. And some companies require you to order a yard, and then I'm afraid to get a whole yard of something. I really should just get something that I have an idea for and stitch a model, and then of course I would sell it. But anyway, this is really sweet, just 2 little scenes of Halloween. Kind of reminds you of the Snapper Villages and the Snapper Land, but they're seasonal. She also has Easter as a little snapper like this. Alrighty. And then the next one is a Lizzy Kate. And I also think I probably didn't see this when she finished it, because it's not framed. It was finished as a cube. And this comes with little button pack. It's $13.50. We still have 2 left. I didn't check 1, 2, 3 stitch to see if it's available. I think this was from, now I don't remember. You know what? I looked it up and I thought I was going to remember 2012, 2014. So it's not super old. So it may still be available a lot of places, but we still have 2. And I believe the finisher chose the really cute fabric. So this is what Marlene's looks like. And I think it kind of looks like it might be slightly overdyed fabric, but I don't know what it was done in, and I didn't look and see what it called for. By the feel of this, it is not styrofoam. It is constructed with mat board that's sewn together, and it's probably stuffed. And then on each outside edge of the mat board, there's a light batting, because I can feel that. So this is called, if you didn't see the title, Hats Off to Halloween 2. There was a Hats Off 1. So, alrighty, I guess that's it. The 12 days chart, I accidentally put away instead of keeping it out to show you. But the winner of last week's giveaway is Heather Maresca 3727, and I commented to her that all she needs to do is email me her mailing address and I'll get that out to Heather. Okay, that's it for today. The whole time I was worried about my necklace. There's a reason why I don't wear this very often. You get it all situated, you get all the little spokes going in the right direction, flip them around, and then you breathe or you move your shoulder and it all messes up again. So you'll probably never see me wear this on camera again, but at least it wasn't too distracting. Okay, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.